Welcome to Priceless Takes.
And we are live from South Carolina in the United States. Welcome back to episode 3 of Priceless Takes. Once again, I have NFL guru David Price joining me for today's episode, where we will recap the best of the NFL Sunday games. And later on in the episode, we will have a special guest to talk about the semi-finals and the grand final of the FIFA World Cup that begins tomorrow. But first of all, David, how are you today?
Luca, I am licking my wounds and reeling from the NFL on the weekend. It's only the second time in 10 years that I've tipped a loser in December and January in the NFL. And look, the Raiders should have won. I'm very, very disappointed with that result. They were home and hosed, and they turned it up in a very, very disappointing performance. I hate tipping bad teams, as you know. I'm very unhappy with my selection, the Seahawks. You talked me into that, not your fault. I need to be a stronger man. I knew Seahawks were on the nose. I've known that since most of the season. They got away with a few wins because they were flying under the radar, as I speak about week in, week out. They were absolutely disgraceful against the Carolina Panthers that you convinced me their season was finished. Now they look like they could make the playoffs in their shithouse division. So, look, my own fault. I'm sorry to the punters out there. It's our first loss in 10 weeks and only our second loss in 10 years in December and January. So let's hope that is our last loss and we fly through the Christmas period and January with great results for all the punters out there. And yeah, it's a tough one. I woke up this morning bitterly disappointed. I slept longer than what I normally sleep last night. Just, my soul's searching, but anyway, let's over and move on. We're going to discuss the weekend's round, and there's a few things to discuss about. But as a die-in-the-wool punter, as we say here in Australia, you've got to move on.
Yeah, look, not the best weekend. The Seahawks, wasn't the greatest performance. Early interception really cost them, and Carolina came out of the gate. The Seahawks looked like they had it figured out, but it just wasn't meant to be, which was disappointing considering now they've pretty much slipped away any chance they had of winning the division with the 49ers winning. Speaking of those San Francisco 49ers, what a performance from Mr. Irrelevant himself, rookie quarterback Brock Purdy, absolutely smashing Tom Brady in a 35-7 drubbing in San Francisco over the Buccaneers. San Francisco moved to 9-4 now for the season, first place in their division. The Buccaneers fall to 6-7. Brady finished with 34 out of 55, 253 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Outplayed by Purdy, in my opinion, 16-21, 185 yards with 2 touchdowns and no picks. David, my question for you is, what happened to Brady and the Bucs in this game?
Well, Luca, I do notice that the flip-flopper, as you have earned the nickname, is back.
Oh, my God,
the
here we go.
flip-flopper is back. I do remember receiving a phone call and an email yesterday saying that you had changed your tip from the San Francisco 49ers to the Buccaneers. So, Mr. Flip-Flopper, you got it wrong and you flipped again. You're earning a reputation in the NFL and around the tipping circles for being the flip-flopper. And you heard it here. I did tip San Francisco, and I did tell you that Tom Brady was finished, and you know I love Tom, and I'd love to go on a double date with him and his numerous new girlfriends you'd have after Giselle. But Tom has to retire, Luca. I've said it for the last 10 weeks, and you keep saying that your man, I do love him, that he's going to come good, but he's done. He's finished. He's over. He got towed up by Purdy. Purdy who? Purdy who?
Okay, no. He didn't. No, that is ridiculous. He did not get towed up by Purdy. He got towed up by the 49ers defense. And the only reason I changed my tip, David, I was so confident in the 49ers, but I was more confident in one man, Nick Bosa, my defensive player of the year. And when I found out that he was out of the game with a hamstring injury, I thought that the Buccaneers were going to be able to pull something off, and I underestimated the rest of the 49ers defense and how much of a complete unit they are. So I will have to bite the bullet, and I will admit I was wrong. I was a bit too high on the Bucs. I thought that Brady's intangibles and winning mentality was going to get him over the line, but the Buccaneers defense completely crumbled. They allowed over 200 rushing yards to the 49ers. Purdy played as good as he needed to play. All he needed to do was just don't screw it up, and that's what he did. He only incompleted 5 passes. He threw 2 touchdowns. He threw a really nice touchdown in the end zone on 3rd and 1. And look, he did everything he needed to do. So hats off to the 49ers, but that defensive unit terrorized Brady even without their best player, and it was a sight to see.
Did you say sorry you got it wrong? I've never heard you say that.
Well, sometimes you can't always be right. Even though I would say at least 90% of the time I am right across all sports, not just the NFL.
Flip flop.
But while conceding that, I will ask you a follow-up question, David. With the dominant performance of San Francisco's rushing attack and defense and the quarterback, do you now think that San Francisco can get to the Super Bowl with Purdy?
What's very interesting, Luca, is reports that I have been reading say that Jimmy Garoppolo could make it back for the last 2 games of the season.
Really?
Yes. I have inside information of a friend of mine who happens to know Jimmy.
Okay.
And Jimmy is confident with his rehabilitation that he could be a chance to play. Now, the San Francisco's overall team is phenomenal. And I did agree with you that they had a chance to win the Super Bowl. What worries me is that the defensive coaches of the other teams playing San Francisco will figure Purdy out, and Purdy could get nervous and therefore lose before they get there. That is my big worry with San Francisco. Otherwise, they are a chance, but not with Purdy. Jimmy has to come back, and only time will tell with his rehabilitation. They can't win with Purdy. They can win with Jimmy.
Yeah. Look, Jimmy does have a broken ankle, so I'm not going to say that your sources are wrong, but I've never seen someone come back from a broken ankle in 2 weeks.
No, there's
2 weeks. If you said he's going to play,
there's 7 weeks until the Super Bowl.
Oh, so you mean the last 2 games, as in he would come back in the playoffs? Right. Sorry, I thought you meant the last 2 games of the regular season. Okay, so you could be right. There is a possibility that happens, but I don't know. I think they have to ride the wave with Purdy. I think it might screw up their system. You don't think so? 5 weeks with Purdy, and then Jimmy Garoppolo comes back in the middle of the playoffs with coming off a broken ankle. I think he might get the yips about it.
No, I disagree. Jimmy knows the team back to front. They know him. Jimmy's destined to win a Super Bowl, like Messi's destined to win the World Cup, and I love fairy tales. So, I'll be in America on Friday, and your present is a hat which you can wear on the show week in, week out, which is called Flip Flopper.
Okay, look, I think that the 49ers can get to the NFC Championship game with Brock Purdy as the quarterback. Theoretically, let's just say that Jimmy Garoppolo is out for the season, just for the sake of argument. I think they can get, I'm just saying for my point, we're just going to say that he will be, okay, because I haven't heard any official reports, but I'm not going to discredit your sources. I think they, okay, yeah, I did, but we'll see when it happens. But I think that I think that Purdy can get in the NFC Championship game, but I just can't see them getting past the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship game. I think that defense is too intense, and I think they're going to make Purdy throw the football and beat them. Yesterday, the Buccaneers, they couldn't stop the run. They didn't make Purdy beat them. Purdy, the run game opened up the game for Purdy. He made routine throws. He made a couple of flashy plays, but I don't think it's going to be that easy against the Philadelphia Eagles. They are going to make Purdy beat them. They're going to take away the run game. I think they'll take it away pretty effectively, and they're going to say, Purdy, if you're going to win this game, you are going to have to step up and beat us. And as a rookie quarterback, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that on the biggest stage.
Agreed.
Well, now that we've covered that, we're going to get on to one of our big picks of the weekend that did get up. David's mighty mighty Buffalo Bills, who had a bit of an underwhelming performance on the weekend, I might say. The Bills now move to 10-3 and have the number one seed in the AFC. Josh Allen had 16 of 27 completions for 147 yards, one touchdown, throwing touchdown, one rushing touchdown, and they won 20-12 over the New York Jets in Buffalo. David, my question for you in this game is, did you like what you saw from the Bills yesterday?
Oh, Luca, you pick on me week in, week out about the Bills.
Oh, I just give the most pressing debate, that's all.
My name is not Flip Flopper, it is Guru. You are correct, it was an underwhelming performance. I was not impressed with what I saw, but that has been the Bills' season. Their season has been one that they've continued to win, but not been impressive. The Jets are a better team than a lot of people think. I've consistently said that they will win the Super Bowl. On that performance, they wouldn't win the Super Bowl. They could still make the Super Bowl on that performance. I go along with what I've said week in, week out. If they bring their A game, they can win the Super Bowl. But yes, I do agree it was underwhelming, and they struggled again.
Yeah, look, the hats off to the Bills defense. They absolutely terrorized Mike White, the backup now starter for the Jets, so much so that he had to go to hospital after the game because it looks like he's broken a couple of ribs. Matt Milano absolutely nailed him on one of the tackles, and he looked in pain, especially in that cold. It'd be very hard to breathe. Then when Joe Flacco came into the game, he was 1 of 3. They forced a fumble out of him, and the Bills' defense, I think, is what won them this game. Josh Allen, I think he was more of a game manager in this game. I don't think he really played with his usual flair and pizzazz. The tight end Dawson Knox had a very flashy touchdown flipping into the end zone. But a big takeaway from me is if they're struggling to beat the New York Jets in Buffalo, as it stands, Cincinnati's going to verse them in the second round. And if they can't even handle the Jets, I don't know how they're going to handle when Joe Burrow comes there and is absolutely going to put a show on them. I just can't see how they're going to handle him if they can't even handle Mike White. Joe Burrow is tiers above Mike White. The Bengals offense, in my opinion, is tiers above the Jets offense. And I think that the Bills should be in trouble if the Ravens win out and the Bengals win out, because the Ravens will have the tiebreaker and they will burst the Cincinnati Bengals in the divisional round, which they will get beat with a performance like that.
You and your love affair with Joe Burrow is getting embarrassing.
You can talk.
I did see you on the internet on some clip on TikTok or Instagram saying that Joe Burrows was the next superhero of the NFL and he was the greatest quarterback in the NFL at the moment, and you'd be
No. Don't you dare misquote me. Don't you dare misquote me, David. I said that at the end of this season, Joe Burrow will assert himself as the best quarterback in the NFL because he will beat your Buffalo Bills in the divisional round. Or if he gets into the 3 seed, he will beat Patrick Mahomes in the divisional round, and then he will beat your Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game. He will assert himself as the best quarterback in the NFL after this season. I didn't say right now. Right now, I think there's a lot of quarterbacks who are fighting for that top spot, and I think another dominant playoff performance from Joe Burrow is going to put him over the top of everyone else, and he is going to assert himself as the best quarterback, okay? That is what's going to happen.
You owe me another hamburger and chips. Because you will be wrong.
Listen, all I know is name me a time when Joe Burrow's choked in the playoffs. You can't name me a time. I can name you 2 times when Josh Allen has done it. I'll give him a pass for last year because the defense did kind of let him down with 13 seconds. I will give you that the defense let him down. But the previous 2 times beforehand, Josh Allen had the game in the palm of his hand and he choked it away. And I think if push comes to shove and he has the game in the palm of his hand, he will throw it away again this year.
Wait and see. Flip-flopper.
We will wait and see. No, even though at the start of the season I didn't have the Bengals to win the Super Bowl, after seeing Joe Burrow, no,
That is your fourth pick
it's not my 4th pick. It's not my fourth pick. It's not my fourth pick. I've always been high on the Cincinnati Bengals. You heard me 2 weeks ago saying that they're going to make a noise in the AFC. I don't know
Oh
why.
my
I don't know why you're
God!
doing this. I think, David, honestly, you're just scared because you've been on the Bills and you're scared that Cincinnati is going to beat them, and you're taking a personal shot at me, calling a flip flopper just because you don't want to face the music and you're dreading the day when I come in and absolutely flame you, playing back those clips of me saying that Cincinnati's going to win and Buffalo's going to lose. And I think the only thing that you have to defend yourself is by attacking me personally, and that's all you have at this point in time, which I think is pretty embarrassing.
Anyone that has 4 picks to win the Super Bowl
No, but
deserves
that's
to
just
get the
not
winner.
true.
Okay,
That's just
next
not
game,
true.
because you're trying
That's
to
just not
defend
true.
your
That's
incompetence
just
as a
not true.
tipper.
That's just not true. No, that's just not true. Listen, you jumped on my 49ers bandwagon 2 weeks ago, and then just because Jimmy Garoppolo
I
got injured,
didn't jump
you're
on
like,
them.
back to the Bills because you don't know any better, and you have a much bigger love affair with Josh Allen than I do with Joe Burrow. But we will not talk about that anymore. We are going to get on to the MVP race, where another one of David's favorite quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts, absolutely tore up the Giants yesterday, putting 48 on them, winning. They were dominant in that game. The Eagles had 253 rushing yards. Jalen Hurts had 217 passing yards, zero interceptions. Dominant performance over their division rivals. David, after Mahomes' 3 interception performance yesterday, do you think that Jalen Hurts is the NFL MVP?
Luca, 3 weeks ago, you asked me, and I said for everyone to get on Hertz at $2.75. He firmed up from $2.75 into $1.85 after last week's performance. He's now cleared front runner for MVP. Mahomes was embarrassingly bad over the weekend. I could not believe the performance from Mahomes. Um,
Neither. I agree.
I just don't know what's going on in Mahomes' head. I really don't. They were nearly beaten. That game went to the wire. A late interception by the Chiefs won them the game. And I don't know what's going on with Mahomes. I really don't. Whether he's getting paid too much money, whether he's lost his hunger. I really don't know. I can't answer the question. Hurts was phenomenal. He is just going from strength to strength to strength to strength. And, my tip of the Eagles and Buffalo Bills playoff for the Super Bowl still stands. It'll be a great game. The Eagles look like they can go all the way and win. And in fact, I think they should be favourites over the Bills at the moment, because we don't know which Bills we're going to get. But the Eagles are just performance week in, week out. They've had their flat spot, and they are on the run. He's phenomenal. The teams normally can figure out a newcomer like the Eagles by this time of the year, and they can't figure them out. They've got, as I said 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, they've got an ABC game plan. The coaching staff's phenomenal. They can adapt during the game. They are very, very impressive. And I can't say any more about them. That he should win the MVP, and they should be Super Bowl favourites.
Yeah, look, I don't think you really. I think you hit the nail on the head there. To be honest, I can't really fault much of what you said. Yeah, look, the offense that Sirianni designed around Jalen Hurts with the run pass option really allows him to be creative and to dictate the offense. He has weapons if he needs them. He has AJ Brown, Miles Sanders, two of the best weapons in the NFL, and I think at this point they're the only defense I really think can contain the Eagles is the San Francisco 49ers defense, because they have the best run defense in the NFL. Philadelphia leads the league in rushing. I think Jalen Hurts should be favored for MVP. I think Mahomes' 3 interception performance against a subpar Denver Broncos team lost him the award. That's really, really hurt him. The American odds for those American fans watching out there, Jalen Hurts has moved into -160 favorite. Patrick Mahomes up to +150. It seems to be a 2-horse race at this point, but I think Hurts really wrapped it up yesterday. And assuming something doesn't go dramatically wrong, I think he's got it wrapped up.
Yeah, look, it's still close. Mahomes did get out to a good start. Hurts is coming home hard.
Yeah.
Mahomes still has better stats in some areas, as you know. but I think Hurts will get over the line.
Yeah, we will see. We will see how it comes at the end of the season. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We will be back shortly with a special guest where David, a special guest, and I will preview the semi-finals and grand final of the 2022 FIFA World Cup starting tomorrow. David, be back in a second.
Thanks, Flip Flopper.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 3 of Priceless Takes. Thank you for waiting during our break. For this part of the podcast, we are going to have a World Cup preview. David Price is back joining me, and along with us, we have a special guest today. We have longtime soccer guru. He's been around the game for many years, both playing and watching. Jakob Mudnic, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Good, thanks. Good, thanks. How are you going?
That's good. Good to hear. Now, gents, I know you both have some very strong opinions about these semi-finals, so we're going to go through both of them after we have a bit of a discussion, hopefully not too fiery. Then we're going to go on to which one of you and your World Cup final winners. So to start off with, the first final being played tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern from the United States, we have Croatia battling Argentina. Argentina coming into the game as minus 128 favourites. Croatia is plus 375 underdogs for the American odds. Just a little bit of a backstory for you. The last time these two nations played, Croatia beat them 3-0 in the 2018 group stages. But this World Cup, both teams have certainly had different teams, different play styles. David, I'm going to start with you first. Can I get your predictions for the game, please?
First of all, I just want to see, can you read that? Can Jakob read that, what that says?
Oh, God. Here we go.
The reason I've got that, and I'm going to get...
Does that say flip flopper?
Flip flopper. That is Luca's name, because Lucas now had 4 picks to try and get the World Cup winner, and he still can't get it. He's had 4 picks in the NFL. He's had umpteen million picks in NBA. So the flip flopper, who knows what he'll say in this segment? It's a wonder it's someone not the two. He'll probably go for Morocco because he's tipped everybody else in the tournament. But anyway, on to the guru.
Okay, David. Okay.
Now, I have watched all the World Cup games, and you two won't agree with me, but Croatia have outperformed anyone's expectations, and they had their pinnacle game in the semi-final against Brazil. And they can't repeat that performance. They played out of the box. That was their grand final. They will definitely get beat by Argentina, and convincingly. They will go for a draw and try and win in penalties, because we all know the Croatians are soft and choke, and the Argentinians have far more talent. And I expect Argentina to win 2-1 or 3-1. Croatia will get a sniff, but instead of Argentina protecting their lead like they've done in the last 2 games, they will go on with the job and win convincingly. And the Croatians will be left to cry in their pivo, otherwise known as beer, for everyone that can speak English out there, and eat chavapi and be sad.
Wow, strong take from you there, David. Jakob, your response? Do you agree or disagree with his take?
Well, just like the whole tournament, and just like every single other game, you're predicting us as being the underdog. I don't think we are the underdogs for this game. I genuinely don't think so. Look what we've done to Brazil. We did it to Japan. Everyone thought Japan would beat us. Everyone thought Brazil would beat us. Everyone thought Belgium would beat us. And at the end of even Canada, when we played Canada, everyone thought Canada would beat us. And look what happened to Canada. I smashed them. Now, I will say we are struggling up top. Argentina have a very good team. They do. But it can go either way, realistically, and it depends on a few key players for me, Obviously, Messi is a big factor. I believe if we can nullify Messi, he'll always have the ball. He'll always be creating chances. He'll have sight on goal. But if we can limit and push it down where he's not on the ball too much and limit his impact on the game, I truly believe we can come out victorious. Whether it be on penalties, extra time, or full time, a win is a win.
Yeah. Jakob,
Good luck.
Anything else?
Good luck. You're going to need it.
Look, The thing for me, really, it comes down to, I think, there's a lot of key matchups, but I think the one thing that the Brazil game taught us about Croatia is that they were able to prepare tactically and they were able to execute. Tactically against Brazil, it was clear from the beginning where every time Vinicius Jr. or Rafinha got the ball on the wings, Croatia would bring an extra man and double them, making them give up the ball. And that was one of the reasons why Croatia was able to neutralize Brazil for long periods of time in the game. The problem in this game is Messi doesn't really have a set role and he's creative. He moves around all over the field. And I think that for Croatia to deal with Messi is going to be a lot harder for them than dealing with Vinicius and Rafinha and the other players that Brazil brought on. But I wouldn't be surprised if this match went the distance. I agree with Jakob that everyone has constantly been underestimating Croatia. But at the same time, I feel like the majority of the world is really, really rooting for Argentina to get through to the final. I think if you're not Croatian or have a connection to Croatia, you're probably wanting to see Messi win. You're probably wanting to see Messi complete the fairy tale run, go on and win the World Cup. And I think that's going to be a big factor. But if there's one thing we know about the Croatians, they're not going to bow down. And ultimately, I think there is a very good chance that the Croatians can shock the world again. I think that Croatia does know how to beat Argentina. They beat them in 2018. Obviously, very different circumstances. But I think I am going to take Croatia to upset Argentina in a penalty shootout because I think that there is a lot of hype surrounding Messi. But when push comes to shove, I think the Croatians have been shown that they can execute a tactical plan, and late in games, Argentina has been very, very, very delicate. They have not performed in late game situations. They could have gotten beat to the Netherlands. They nearly got beat, got an equaliser scored against them by Australia. And I think that if there's one thing that we've seen, Croatia in both of their knockout games this year has come back from behind. And if they do fall behind to Argentina, I think they can win again. But
I think that's an advantage. I think that's an advantage for Argentina. The fact that they protected the leads in the last two games, and they
haven't protected the leads, really, have they?
Well, they have. When they've got in front, they've protected that lead, and
they've got conceded against though, so they haven't.
And they haven't run out the 90 minutes really that well. So I think you'll see this time a complete performance where they'll put them to the sword and win in the 90 minutes plus injury time.
Jakob, you look like you're in a train of deep thought. I want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, look, as I said before, it can go either way. But I honestly believe Croatia come out, play how they've been playing, defend how they've been defending. We could probably honestly do it within the 90 or 120th. I don't think we will need to go to penalties next game.
Okay, big call.
Yep.
Okay, I will ask, if the contest does go to penalties,
yes,
who would you have in a penalty shootout? I want to hear from both of you. Jakob, I'll hear from you first this time.
As in who we are expecting
who would
to
win
the shootout?
Who would win in the penalty shootout if it got there?
Well, penalty shootouts are a flip of a coin, so it can go either way, can't it? But obviously, You're going to be backing Croatia based off previous form in penalty shootouts. They've obviously got perfect record in the World Cup, so you'd be backing them to win it.
David, do you agree, or do you think Argentina would have them in a penalty shootout if it got there?
I think Croatia would win in a penalty shootout.
Okay, so we're both in agreement there. Yeah, look, Dominik Livakovic, the Croatian goalkeeper, has been outstanding in the penalty shootouts. But Emi Martinez wasn't so shabby himself. He saved the Netherlands' first two penalties in the quarterfinals. So I think if it got to a penalty shootout, both of the goalkeepers have been shown to be at the top of their games. But now we have reached a consensus from both of you. David has Argentina winning in the semi-final. Jakob has Croatia. We're going to move on to the next semi-final, which I'm not sure if it will be as close between your opinions, but we have France versus Morocco. France are overwhelming favourites in this matchup, coming in at minus 195. Morocco at plus 600. France are going to look to be the first nation to repeat the World Cup as champions for the first time in 60 years, 1962 when Brazil did it. Morocco could have some key players out. Roman Saiz, their captain, is likely out with a hamstring injury. Star player Hakeem Ziyech is also doubtful, but he is expected to play. I'm not sure if that changes your opinions, but Jakob, I'm going to hear from you first this time. Who do you have winning in this contest and why?
Oh, look, you always want an underdog story, but I can't see France losing to Morocco. Can't see it happening. I just think France are too good defensively, too good in the middle, too good up top. And although Morocco have had a good run, they've had their fair share of luck, and I think it may run out in the semi-final.
David?
Morocco are no chance. Absolutely no chance. They've had the fairy tale run. They've been underrated by a lot of teams. They've flown under the radar. You know my theory on flying under the radar. This time France fully engaged. They are paper. They're better on the field. Fairy tale, goodbye Morocco, and France into the World Cup final with an easy victory, and all the Frenchmen can celebrate and drink on their red wine because it'll just be all over before you know it.
I don't think it will be too easy for them. They beat Spain and Portugal. You can't deny that. They've beaten Spain, they've beaten Portugal.
Yeah, but
and they're both very good teams.
Both those teams thought they were going to win. Everyone's gone into playing Morocco thinking they were going to be easy beats, and they weren't. And the semi-final's different. Portugal, I thought, were very ordinary against them. And I just think Morocco have had their run and it's all over now. They've done a fantastic job. Good luck to them. Well done.
First
they've really done
side
very,
to
very
reach
well.
a semi-final, obviously. Yep.
Yeah, ever. Yeah. So, Croatia and Morocco both out, but well done to them. For small countries, it's exceptional performance.
And how will you react if they both make the final?
Well, the guru's never wrong, so that won't happen.
Okay, well, we all know that's not true, but...
It's not over till the fat lady sings.
I don't know if that's politically correct anymore.
Oh, well.
Listen. Just to despite you two, I think there is I'm not even going to say a good chance. I'm going to say that there is a great chance that Morocco pulls off an upset here. And let me tell you why, David. No, David, listen. There is a reason why. There is a reason why France, a nation, has not been repeat World Cup champions in 60 years, because it is incredibly hard to do. I have not been on France this whole tournament. Personally, I thought they were going to lose to England in the quarterfinals. Obviously, that didn't happen, so I don't understand why you're holding up that flip-flopper sign. I've never been high on France to start with, and I'm not going to be high on them again. I think, like Croatia, Morocco has proven to tactically execute, and that is the biggest thing. And I think France, playing their individualistic style of football, is going to catch up with them in this game. I think it's going to go to penalty shootouts, and I think Morocco's going to win. The Moroccan goalkeeper, Bono, has been an absolute wall in this competition. He's conceded one goal, and it was an own goal from his teammate. Morocco has been able to show that they have been able to execute. England provided the formula in the quarterfinals for how to lock up Mbappe. Mbappe did not have a very good game in the quarterfinals, but it was the rest of the French team that was able to show out, and they were able to get them over the line. But I think Morocco, on the counter-attack, has the ability to cause France a lot of problems. The one thing that might work in France's favour is the matchup of Mbappe and his PSG teammate Hakimi, a very attacking right fullback, and if they get caught out in attack, that'll give Mbappe a lot of space down the left-hand side. But I think Morocco can pull off an upset against France, despite what the FIFA world would think. But I also think by Morocco giving an upset to France, that this would ultimately give the people what they want if Argentina does manage to beat Croatia. And I think this would allow Argentina to beat Morocco in a grand final. I think if Argentina were to get into the grand final against France, I think personally France would beat them. I don't think Argentina's going to get into the grand final. Okay, but what I do think is that there is a very good chance that there is something going on behind the scenes. I'm going to throw this out there, that a FIFA World Cup grand final featuring Argentina in it would get a lot more viewers than a FIFA World Cup final featuring Croatia. And I think that could play a factor into it. But ultimately, I am going to go against you two.
Are you saying they're going to rig it?
I think honestly they could. Look, I think Qatar wasn't. I don't think Qatar hosting the World Cup in general was the most necessarily fair thing to ever happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if something dodgy went on behind the scenes. To be honest, I would not be surprised at all.
Excuse me. First of all, you tipped Brazil. Then you flip-flopped to England. Now you're flip-flopping to Morocco. Have you been drinking your mama's cool?
No. I'm not going to let you finish. No, you can't finish. No, because you're completely wrong. No, it's not your turn. It's my turn. Okay, you're completely wrong. No, let me tell you why. Okay, you're changing the arguments here. Okay, we are predicting this game in particular. Okay, despite all else that has happened, we are picking this game in particular. I am picking that Morocco is going to pull off an upset and beat France. That has nothing to do with England. That has nothing to do with Brazil. That has nothing to do with anyone else in this tournament. It is simply the fact that Morocco has shown the ability to execute tactically, and they can pull off an upset against France.
Fine, if you let me speak, you just went on a wild conspiracy theory, and that's why I said, have you been drinking your mama's Kool-Aid?
Yeah,
she's mad on conspiracy theories, but you know what? You just said that FIFA's going to rig it, so Argentina...
No. See, misquoting me again. I said that I would not be surprised if something dodgy went on, okay? I'm not saying it's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if something dodgy went on. I think personally... a lot of people it has nothing to do with flip-flopping. You're misquoting me. I'm simply defending myself because, again, you're personally attacking me because you know that I'm probably going to be right, and that's all you have at this point is to call me the flip-flopper because I clearly have the edge over you in all of our takes. But before we finish off, I do want to get... So, David, just to clarify, you have an Argentina-France final?
Well, I have tipped Argentina since the beginning of this tournament. I haven't had 3 or 4 picks.
Okay.
I've had one pick, Argentina, from a month ago, and I've stuck to them.
Okay. So you have an Argentina-France grand final. Jakob, you have a rematch of 2018. You have a Croatia.
I have a rematch of 2018. That is correct. But
okay.
I want to ask a few questions. I just need an answer. All right. If it's an Argentina-France final, who is winning? Just one word answer.
David?
I need a 3-word answer. It is I don't know. I would love to see Messi live the fairy tale. He will then go down as the greatest player of all time, winning a World Cup. I love champions. I hate tipping against champions. I love fairy tales. And I just would love to see Argentina win. But for me, it is a line ball for Argentina and France. I'd love Argentina to play Morocco because they would be certainties.
Okay. And what if it was a Argentina-Morocco final?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just said that. Argentina win easy.
Sorry.
Yeah. Argentina-France grand final, I would reluctantly take France. I think Messi will go short again against France in a final. The only way I see Argentina winning in the final is if they verse Morocco. I don't think they would beat France. I think there's a better chance of France repeating for the first time in 60 years than Messi winning a World Cup.
Argentina are going to win the whole thing. I said it 4 weeks ago and I'll say it again. You can buy me a scarf, Luca, and Jakob, you can buy me a beanie.
Jakob, what do you think? If you had an Argentina-France grand final, who do you think would win?
Obviously, I'd want Argentina to win, but I'd have to pick France.
But your predicted grand final is a Croatia-France grand final. And who would you have winning that?
Grand final.
Would you have the opposite, or would you think France would get them a second time?
It would depend on how the semi-finals went for me to make up my mind.
Okay, well, we might have to have another episode in review, most likely after David gets proven wrong again, but we shall see.
I hope so.
We shall see. Anyway, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to episode 3 of Priceless Takes. We will be back later this week with some more NFL and NBA content. And after the World Cup semi-finals have been played, we will have another preview of the World Cup Grand Final, as well as recapping the semi-finals. Jakob Mudnic, our special guest, thank you for coming on. We hope to see you again soon after the games have been played. David, thank you for joining us again. I will see you later in the week.
Perfect. Thanks
Thanks,
for
David.
having me.
Thanks, Jakob.
No worries.
Thank you.
See ya.
See ya.